Check one. For people who are watching this stream in post, which is probably most of you, this is a rebroadcast of a live stream I did last week, which was plagued with plenty of internet malfunctions and dropped frames and buffering, and it was very difficult to watch. So what I could salvage from that live stream, I decided to put up here. So I'm going to be playing the video of last week's stream. Hopefully it will extend farther than the previous stream. I've changed around a lot of things behind the scenes, so hopefully the stream goes smoother. And then from here, we'll iron things out for future streams. If you're tuned in, thank you. If you're not, that's okay. The whole point of this is to preserve the VOD that happened last week, which was unfortunately halfway lost. So I'm going to start the video. I'll be muted on the mic as I'll let the video play. Please, if this is your first time seeing this game, Last Tea Shop by Spring Villager, then I hope you enjoy. It's a wonderful read. I really enjoyed it, and there was a little bit of me playing this game solo towards the end of this video. So thank you for dropping by. I'll be in the live chat, but I will be muted on the mic. So if you're here, thank you for being here. I'm going to go play the video now. Bye-bye. The VOD should be fine. Okay, let's get into it. So, what is this game about? Took a sudden jump forward in time and the sound is good. So, thank you so much. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate you guys. Let's get into it. You run a tea shop. Hello, Mr. Yomi. Nice yaks me. Welcome to the stream. I think my favorite might be oolong, with it being a nice balance between black and green tea. I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of black tea, big fan of green tea, and oolong being right in the middle is a nice middle ground. I'm a wimp. I do like sweet tea, but I also like chai. I enjoy a good bowl of a good cup of chai as well, which, you know, technically means tea, but if you're drinking chai tea, there's a specific version. I think mine has ginger in it, I can't remember, or cinnamon, one or the other. But welcome to the stream. Anyway, this game, we really got to get into the game. Here we go. You run a tea shop on the border of the living and the dead. The recently deceased visit for one last hot drink before their long journey into the great beyond. Time is strange here. Days and memories blur. Nobody visited you yesterday, you are sure of that. Someone passed last week, but you can't recall their face. The fog thins. A figure approaches. You stoke the fire. Last Tea Shop is a game about tea and storytelling. Set up your stall and wait for visitors to emerge from the mist. Over cups of tea, talk to visitors about their lives and help them prepare to travel into the lands of the dead. Record their thoughts, fears, dreams, and hopes in your journal for posterity. Conversations reveal links between visitors. The rules in this book describe solo play. Variations for a 2-player version appear on the back cover. What you need: some quiet time, a way to take notes, a 6-sided die, and of course tea, optional but recommended. Answer the following questions to set up. Where is your Tisha? Hello, Polyphonica. Welcome. I know your name. I know you from the Your Rivers Are Wrong videos and podcast episodes. Your name is very familiar to both of us. I absolutely love this game. Glad to see you covering it. Awesome. Another great recommendation. I'm so curious about it. Answer the following questions to set up. Where is your tea shop located? What special affinities does your stall have? What supplies are in your pantry? And which path do visitors follow to reach your shop? So let's iron a couple of those out. So again, we are running a tea shop on the border of the living and the dead. So this strange middle space, this strange purgatory where people step before they head over to the afterlife is what I can only assume. So the first visual that came to mind, and I guess this is just an example of what it could look like, right? Just a tea shop on the top of a mountain. Um, where is it located? So I don't want to copy it and say a mountain, but I do want to do something maybe similar. I guess the idea most present in my mind is that it'd probably be just a little tea shop on the side of a river. The visual here being the river Styx that leads you into the afterlife. And, you know, as Charon or whoever the boatmaster is ferrying you all the way to heaven or wherever you're headed, you stop to take a break. You stop by the little tea shop on the side of the river Styx. Make sure not to touch the waters as you walk over to just a little booth. There's a couple of stools that are precariously placed over the river Styx, but high enough that you're not going to be touching it. And you simply request whatever tea you like. And this place has all the teas. I can't say they're good at all the teas, but the tea that you request will be one that you've had in your previous life that you really enjoyed. And we'll have exactly the ingredients for that. So that's the visual. It's located next to a river, being the river Styx. What special affinities does your stall have? I think nostalgia would be the core affinity. I don't know what affinity means in particular, but it would simply be something to remind you of a good time with tea. Having tea rarely associates itself with bad memories in my own experience. So if usually tea is linked to a good memory. What supplies are in your pantry? Literally everything. I'm going to say everything. I'm going to say that the supplies in my pantry are exactly what the requester wants, and very little else. Very little room for improv. Simply open the door. Tea's inside. That's what we got. What path do visitors follow to reach your shop? A river. You can't get there by any means except for boat. You can't walk there. You can't fly there. Very specifically available to only boats. I imagine there's like an overpass. There's like a canopy of trees that blocks from sight from the skies, and your boat simply passes through these vines and canopies to arrive at the tea shop, have your tea, and you continue on forward. That's my general gist of what I think this looks like to me. But of course, if your vision is different, by all means, you're free to imagine what you wish. A game plays over several rounds. Each turn, someone arrives at the stall, and you play out the scene. See pages 9 to 12. Oh, okay, so this is just an overpass. Roll for how many days pass. This reveals your first visitor. Roll for weather, which reflects the emotional state. Oh, sick. Prepare tea and ask your first question. Serve tea and ask your last question. Take any tea effects into account. For subsequent visitors, repeat the process above, but introduce one more question. Ask the visitor, how did you know my last customer? Repeat until Veiled One departs. Who is Veiled One? Departs or you reach some other ending. Okay, so we're going to find out what Veiled One means. We're going to find out what reach some other ending means. We don't know what those key terms are, but we're going to continue forward and find out. Okay, setting up shop. The shop is in a quiet place, often cloaked in mist or light rain. There's a special feeling here. Moments stretch and fade. This is a space for communion and release. Consult the tables below to establish where your shop is located. Either choose a location or use the following random method. Roll a 6-sided die, then roll again. First dice result points to one of the named groups below. Second points to a specific location. Oh, maybe these. We should use these for the location. I'm so sorry. I got ahead of myself. Describe this place on the stall as much feels right. You may even draw your shop. All right, let's do this. Let's roll. Let me get the Chrome tab up. Chrome tab, I need you. Dice roller. What we need is a 2d6 for the location. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, this stream won't be incredible. Hopefully the VOD picks up everything I'm saying here. In case the stream doesn't, okay. For tonight. Maybe I don't know. I'm not close to the storm that's happening down south in Florida, but maybe that has something to do with it. But the internet is very garbage tonight. So, what I want to do, because I do want to do justice to the, person who made this game. I do record this stream as per normal, and then hopefully the VOD contains the full reading and survives this poor stream. So yeah, well, Thumper made a great point. I'm going to just make things readable in terms of notes in case things skip and jump around. The internet will continue to be bad all throughout tonight. But this is the vision. I'm just going to keep in this notepad over to the right. Okay. Let's continue. A little demoralizing, but oh, I did this entirely wrong. There's 6 options. Okay, so I rolled a 5 and a 4. So let's restart that. Right. I rolled a 5 and a 4. Location. So 5 would be this all the way to the right. It would be over here. Open places. So, open places. And then 4 would be a tundra with ghost scattered trees. Yeah. A little spooky, but it works. This will be our location. That's a 5 and a 4. But there's a bunch of options. There's a bunch of example. Internet's dying on me again. Crazy stuff. The upload speed is so low, unfortunately. Okay, we'll continue onwards. So much we can do. To find your starting supplies, add 1 serving of each local ingredient to the pantry section of your stall sheet. Roll for additional items on the common ingredients tables until you have 3 supplies. There are 2 ways to replenish supplies. Some visitors gift common or even rare supplies. Oh, we can get gifts from visitors. Once per game, you can forage a local ingredient between visitors. Describe this foraging expedition on your stall sheet. Journal. Interesting. To find your starting supplies, add 1 serving of each local ingredient to the pantry section. Oh, so we... Add 1 serving of each local ingredient to your pantry section in the stall sheet. Okay. Let me try this again. So I'm grabbing all the local ingredients, right? Can I just copy it? Nope. Right, gumdrop. Trash and kawa leaf. Okay. So ingredients, and then there should be common ingredients somewhere. Where can I find common ingredients? Here. Great. Here. Great. And I have 3 here. So I need a six-sided dice and roll it again. First dice points to one of the columns below. Second type. Got it. Okay, so I'm going to roll a 2d6 for this. Five and 6. Great. So the first dice is the column, so this one, and then 6 is here. So I got a little bit more chamomile. Great. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. And then, so I'm going to do that again. So I got chamomile. I'll do that again. 2, 6. So 2, 6, bright gumdrop. Okay. So let me just mark that down. Times 2, bright gumdrop times 2. And then the last one is... Sounds good to me. I think is what's happening here. Something like that. Hello, triple person. Welcome to the stream. I should warn you, we're having connection problems. We'll probably just have to watch the VOD after. Hello. Apologies for the connection tonight. Okay. Let's see if we can get into this. Recipes. Oh, look. There's a bunch of recipes that we could use here. Gumboot tea. So the gumboot tea. So this one is the one you could do for anybody, right? But then here we need a couple of different teas, like the tea of mirth, an hour spent laughing at everything and nothing, reindeer lichen, reindeer lichen or feather moss, draft, quartz crystal. Okay, so we're gonna need some of these ingredients to make certain recipes. I see. Let me see. Pantry section. I got. Okay. We're good. Okay, so these are examples of different teas you can have, and I'm guessing just the different experiences that you will have with these visitors. Drink to calm a difficult memory, or to fill the... I see. Okay, there's an example of another tea shop. Beautiful art. Fantastic. And here's a bunch of rolls that I'm not familiar with, but we'll find out. Playing the game. Here we go. Once you knew many routes between the lands of the living and the dead. Now it is hazy, and the knowledge has slipped away. You recall just 2 paths. Prepare a real-world tea for yourself. I only have water. I'll prepare tea for myself after this, as we're well on the stream. Now establish the starting path. Consider the phrases dice trail and lantern path. Which do you prefer? This is how the first visitor travels to the shop. If neither all d6. Odd results indicate dice. Even results signify lantern. Interesting. Okay. I'll roll a d6 and see where that leads me. Six. So 6 is... Oh, let me get some water. I can do that for myself. It's not tea, but it's something. All right, I got some water. I'm good to go. So even results signify lantern path. Let's write that down. Okay, days and visitors. Roll a 6-sided dice. The result is the number of days that pass before your first visitor arrives. The table on the facing page represents the dice trail and I do want to do justice to the person who made this game. I'm going to record this stream as per normal, and then hopefully the VOD contains the full reading and survives this poor stream. So yeah, well, Thumper made a great point. I'm going to just make things readable in terms of notes in case things skip and jump around. The internet will continue to be bad all throughout the night, but this is the vision. I'm just going to keep in this notepad over to the right. Okay, let's continue. A little demoralizing, but oh, I did this entirely wrong. There's 6 options. Okay, so I rolled a 5 and a 4. So let's restart that. Right. I rolled a 5 and a 4. Location. So 5 would be this all the way to the right. It would be over here. Open places. So open places. And then 4 would be a tundra with ghost scattered trees. Yeah. A little spooky, but it works. This will be our location. That's a 5 and a 4. But there's a bunch of options. So there's a bunch of example locations you could put the sea shop in case you don't have your own ideas. Describe this place on the stall sheet, noting any local ingredients. Write as little or as much feels right. You may even draw your shop. Let me pull up the stall sheet and see what that looks like. Okay, so the stall sheet looks a little bit like this. There is a shop description, game overview, we have tea supplies, we have days, and then we have the journal over here. So this is what you would fill out as you play the game. Fantastic. I'm just watching my upload download rate and it is cratering every couple seconds. Brutal. Let's not dwell on that. Okay, local ingredients for a place like this in the tundra. I definitely want some, what do we have here? What are the options? We have here some, we gotta have chamomile. That's not non-negotiable. Chamomile. Let's put some, I don't know what stargrass is, but stargrass sounds fine to me. Stargrass. And then giant puffball will be my last ingredient. Let's just do that. I think that seems fine. These cover like soothing, sharp, and soft, right? Those, and like sweet. Those are my 3 big things. But let's figure out what affinities mean. Finding affinities. You have a special connection to certain aspects of reality. Sometimes these affinities are physically present in the tea shop. Others relate to atmospheric or astronomical phenomena. More still are abstract or esoteric. Your relationships with these entities or properties may influence conversations and scenes. Lean into this as much or little as you like. Choose one of the groups below. Roll a 6-sided die to find your first affinity. Choose another group and roll again. This is your second affinity. Okay. On your stall sheet, briefly describe how your affinities are part of this place. You might treat them separately or fold them together. Oh, I did that first part entirely wrong. I just guessed on what affinities meant, but now this is better. Okay, so I'm gonna choose. Actually, you know what? I want. These are cool. Give me temporality, and then I want creatures and temporality. So we're gonna roll those first, I'm choosing 2 affinities and blending them together, but I'm going to roll a 2d6 for it. So let's get back to the 2d6. And a 1. And a 2. I didn't mean to call the numbers exactly. That's actually really funny. Okay. I guess it's a 1 and a 2. I don't know if that... How did that look on stream? That's really funny. I just meant to say a 1 and a 2, and it ended up being a 1 and a 2. Anyway, creatures. 1. Fireflies. Oh, let me show you the Chrome. Let me show you the PDF. On 1 is fireflies, non-temporality. 2 is lost objects. How cool is that? Okay. So, again, we are imagining a tundra with scattered ghost trees, and my affinities are fireflies and lost objects. I imagine that in a wide tundra, again, entirely barren of any tall trees, entirely barren of anything that might obstruct view, what would bring you to this tea shop would be a subtle glow hanging in the air. You could see it from even a long way off, this cloud of like an orange yellowy color, shifting and shaking. You think it's some sort of strange flame, but as you get closer, it's actually a nebulous swarm of fireflies that simply enjoy the presence and the smell and the warmth of this tea shop in this stark tundra. And as it has drawn the fireflies to, as the tea shop has drawn the fireflies to its presence, so too it draws you. You arrive, previously having been lost within the tundra, wandering for probably the better part of several days or weeks. Time is a strange thing in this space, but just as you are lost, you arrive at this tea shop among a number of memorabilia from your life. You can see a couple of the shelves next to these canisters of tea. You can see perhaps the soccer ball that you kicked over a fence when you were young, or a couple of the socks that were given to you as gifts from one of your loved ones that you misplaced some summer ago. You can see that this tea shop not only displays a number of different varieties of tea, but also supplies you with the brief instances of memories of things that have escaped your mind and now return to it, of due importance. Let's continue onwards. Tea supplies and recipes. There are different types of tea, each with a unique fragrance, taste, and effect. You can brew gumboot tea anytime, but others require specific ingredients. Brewing a pot of tea consumes 1 supply. Start with 3 supplies. Okay? Let's do that. Supply. Internet's dying on me again. Crazy, crazy stuff. The upload speed is so low, unfortunately. Okay, we'll continue onwards. Not much we can do. To find your starting supplies, add 1 serving of each local ingredient to the pantry section of your stall sheet. Roll for additional items on the common ingredients tables until you have 3 supplies. There are 2 ways to replenish supplies. Some visitors gift common or even rare supplies. Oh, we can get gifts from visitors. Once per game, you can forage a local ingredient between visitors. Describe this foraging expedition on your stall sheet. Journal. Interesting. To find your starting supplies, add 1 serving of each local ingredient to the pantry section. Oh, so we... Add 1 serving of each local ingredient to your pantry section in the stall sheet. Okay. So let me try this again. So I'm grabbing all the local ingredients, right? Can I just copy it? Nope. Right, gumdrop, reindeer lichen, stargrass, and kawakawa leaf. Okay. So these are my local ingredients, and then there should be common ingredients somewhere. Where can I find common ingredients? Here. Great. And I have 3 from here. So I need a 6-sided dice and then roll it again. First dice points to one of the columns below. Second type. Got it. Okay. So I'm going to roll a 2d6 for this. Five and 6. Great. So the first dice is the column, so this one, and then 6 is here. So I got a little bit more chamomile. Great. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. And then, so I'm going to do that again. So I got chamomile. I'll do that again. 2, 6. So 2, 6, bright gumdrop. Okay. So let me just mark that down. Times 2, bright gumdrop times 2. And then the last one is 2, 2. So that would be dried sage. Okay. Sounds good to me. Something like that, I think, is what's happening here. Something like that. Hello, triple person. Welcome to the stream. I should warn you, we're having connection problems. We'll probably just have to watch the VOD after. Hello. Apologies for the connection tonight. Okay. Let's see if we can get into this. Recipes. Oh, look. There's a bunch of recipes that we could use here. Gumboot tea. So this one is the one that you could do for anybody, right? But then here we need a couple of different teas, like the tea of mirth, an hour spent laughing at everything and nothing, reindeer lichen, reindeer lichen or feather moss. And then there's memory draft, which is quartz crystal. Okay, so we're gonna need some of these ingredients to make certain recipes. I see. Let me see. Pantry section. I got. Okay. We're good. Okay, so these are examples of different teas you can have, and I'm guessing just the different experiences that you will have with these visitors. So like drink to calm a difficult memory, or to fill the room with fascinating lights and colors. I see. Okay, this is an example of another tea shop. Beautiful art. Fantastic. Okay, and here's a bunch of rolls that I'm not familiar with, but we'll find out. Okay. Playing the game. Here we go. Once you knew many routes between the lands of the living and the dead. Nowadays your memory is hazy, and the knowledge has slipped away. You recall just 2 paths. Prepare a real-world tea for yourself. I only have water. I'll prepare tea for myself after this as a reward for doing well on the stream. Now establish the starting path. Consider the phrases dice trail and lantern path. Which do you prefer? This is how the first visitor travels to the shop. If neither phase resonates, roll a d6. Odd results indicate dice, even results signify lantern. Interesting. Okay. I'll roll a d6 and see where that leads me. Six. So 6 is... Oh, let me get some water. I can do that for myself. It's not tea, but it's something. All right, I got some water. I'm good to go. So even results signify lantern path. Let's write that down. Okay, days and visitors. Roll a 6-sided dice. The result is the number of days that pass before your first visitor arrives. The table on the facing page represents the dice trail and lantern path as columns. Look down your starting path until you find the entry next to the number rolled. Huh. This is your first visitor. If there's a symbol next to the visitor's name, look up the gifts and effects table. Okay, so here is a dice trail and lantern path, right? Okay. So, roll 6-sided dice, number of days. Let's do this first. Number of days that pass before the first visitor arrives. So I'm going to roll a d6. 4. So 4 days before the first visitor arrives. The table on the facing page represents a dice trail and lantern path as columns. Look down your starting path until you find the entry next to the number rolled. Oh, okay. So over here we're on lantern path. Our first visitor is farmer. Okay, I don't know what that means yet, but we'll find out. Oh look, this is exactly what I rolled. Visitors walk the lantern path, 4 days pass, the farmer arrives bearing a gift. Wow, that's spooky. That's exactly what I got. Record how many days pass along with the first visitor on your stall sheet, along with any gifts and effects. Then turn the page. Establish the weather and play your first question ritual scene. On subsequent days, roll a d6 and add the result to the day's total. Consult the current path to learn who arrives. Got it. So in the situation that I rolled a 4, which I did, if I rolled a 3 the next day, I would move, scroll over here, I would move from 4 plus 3 to 7. And I would be talking to the shepherd after 3 days pass. Okay. Okay, gifts and effects. Gifts, random, common ingredients. So this is the first one, right? We got farmer, and farmer has this leaf pattern next to it. So I'm going to go back down here. The farmer, gifts a random common ingredient. So we can go to page 6 to get a common ingredient, which we'll do later, I'm sure. Okay. Weather and tea. Roll a 6-sided dice. When a new visitor arrives, and roll it again. First dice result points to one of the tables below. The second points to a row with today's atmospheric weather and the visitor's emotional state. Okay, so let's roll this 2d6. I like how I don't have to come up with any of this myself, which is very nice for people who are less creative than me. and more or equally as creative as me. Especially when the book is entirely outside of my genre of comfort. So like any sci-fi book with roll tables, super duper useful, because I truly don't have the creative capacity to understand what would be good for this. Thumper, thank you for sticking around, Thumper. I understand that people who are tuning into this stream, they understand it's very glitchy. Simply wait for the VOD. Hopefully the VOD is less jumpy. I'm really hoping that it survives this recording, which is poor. And if it is super bad, then we could always just try this game next week. Unfortunately, it is so rough out here, but that's how it goes. Four and 3. So we're going to use 4 and 3 for this next roll. Four is over here. 3 is here. Low tinged clouds and frustration. So this is the farmer arriving to our tea shop with a gift of a and the current mood is low tinged clouds and frustration. Understood. The question: trees and prepare a tea you have supplies for. Skip this step for farm. Okay. Skip this step for farm cat and mouse who do not drink tea. Hedge which also refuses tea. Great. As you prepare tea, there is time to ask the visitor a question. Choose a question prompt from the facing page or make up your own. Write an evocative response in the journal section of your character sheet, taking into account the visitor's emotional state. If this is your first visitor, skip to serving tea. Otherwise, ask, how did you know my last customer? I see. If the moment seems right, weave an affinity into the situation. Describe in your journal how this transformed or eases things. Serve tea. Ask another question as the visitor drinks. This time take any tea effects into account when journaling the visitor's response. When the tea is finished, bid your visitor farewell. In your journal, describe the visitor's state upon leaving the stall. And how to end the game. When days reach 24 or more, Veiled One arrives. Follow the question ritual. As Veiled One departs, ask the final question, what happens next? Okay, so the game ends when you reach 24. So 24 days, which means you do a bunch of prompts and meet a bunch of people before this game eventually concludes. So let's try to do one prompt and then we'll end the proper, simply because unfortunately the internet connection is ruining this stream for our watchers. So the VOD will hopefully have the full account of what this stream was and you will be able to enjoy it then. But if not, we could probably try again next week and hopefully the problems will be finished by then. But let's try to do this prompt. So we got a couple of ingredients here. Again, we are a tea shop in a tundra with scattered ghost trees. We are highlighted by a swarm of fireflies, and on our walls are memorabilia of lost objects in our visitors' lives. We have a number of ingredients within our cabinets that we can use to make tea. The first visitor that we have is a farmer. This farmer provides the ingredient for us to use. Let's see what this common ingredient is. We're going to roll on common ingredients to see what he brings. I think I rolled 2, I'm not sure. 3 and 6. So looking at this ingredient chart, we have 3 and then 6. We get bright gumdrop. The ingredient he brings is bright gumdrop, which is one of our local ingredients. And he comes with a specific mood. He, I believe, has low red tinged clouds and frustration. So we can choose one of these questions to ask him, and we will journal his answer. And then after we serve him tea, we ask him one more question. So let's try it. The farmer arrives. You can see there is this look of frustration on his face. He looks like he's had a very difficult time, a very difficult journey. Understandably, the tundra around us is unkind to visitors, but it is ultimately a bridge to the afterlife. It is ultimately a rite of passage to pass through, and the farmer finds our tea shop as a place of respite in the midst of his long journey. I look to him and I ask him, you sacrificed something. What did you give up? As I'm playing this game solo, I will be responding as the tea shop owner and as the farmer, and the farmer responds with a sigh. He thinks about his life. He ponders on the career he led. He ponders on the lands he cared for, the animals he raised. He ponders on the seasons that passed. He never really wanted to go into the farming business. In fact, it was an occupation that his father led him into. The farm that he has was inherited by his father, who was the village, was very much appreciated and cared for by the village as one of the sole providers of a steady supply of food for the local community. And this farmer, as a very young age, was instilled with the idea that the village depends on you. The livelihood, the survival, and the flourishing of this village rests entirely on your shoulders. And the farmer, as he grew up, took this to heart. He took his work very seriously. He made sure to provide for the community around him. But the village that he grew up in expanded quickly. With flourishing crops and a surplus of food comes expansion, comes the growth of new buildings, new businesses, new living spaces, and the village quickly becomes closer to a city. And this city, in its success, begins to network, begin to connect with other establishments, other cities across this great plain. And the farmer suddenly realizes he is no longer a big fish in a small pond. He is just one of many farmers providing for the city. And while that is theoretically a load off of his back, the responsibility that he was granted continues to weigh heavy on him because he sacrificed everything to do it. He had dreams and aspirations, but he prized the survival of his community over his own bright future. He could have become anything in this life, but eventually accepted that he would almost resign himself to this farmer role. What he sacrificed was his own career, was his own path, to tread the same path as his father, a noble one, a proud one, but ultimately one that was unfulfilling. On the walls of this tea shop spawn the images of awards, of trophies that he won in middle school, in high school, of these extracurriculars, of his success on the debate team, or his accolades on track and field. He could have been an athlete, he could have been a lawyer, he could have been any other profession. But he gave those all up to continue the legacy of his father. And it is nothing to be ashamed of to be someone of that occupation. It is simply not what he wanted. What he gave up, what he sacrificed, was his dream. The tea we offer him, pulling from the ingredients that we have, is a drink to calm a difficult memory. The tea shop owner sees this farmer living in a moment of regret. He sees this farmer devastated, reflecting on his meaningless life in his own perspective. And the tea shop owner provides him with this distance tea to assuage, to comfort the pains and regrets of his life. And what the tea shop owner brings forth is instead other memories not belonging to him, but to others, of his community, of people who never vocalized it to him, but managed to grow strong and proud and successful based on the supplies of the crops provided to them, that they never had to worry about food, about drink, about the carings of the field. They never had to worry about the surplus of commodities provided to them by the benefits of the farm. They were thankful, they simply weren't vocal. And the careers and the livelihoods and the expansion spawned from the work, the hard toilings of the signature store, simply expanded beyond the reach of the small village, beyond the reach of the city. These people traveled the world and lived their own lives and grew successful, all because of this steady and caring upbringing provided by a farmer they've never spoken to. The legacy of this farmer extends well beyond his field. It extends all throughout the world and is spoken through the accomplishments of the people that he fostered. Because of him, a child got to be a lawyer. Because of him, a daughter became an athlete. There were many successes. Although not him personally, but him vicariously, he may claim them as his own. And that brings not a perfect comfort, but a steady comfort to the farmer. So the tea shop owner asks one more question, which I'll choose right now. Here, you left something unfinished. What remains undone? The farmer reflects on his life, and he says sorrowfully that his own son follows in his footsteps. He too was burdened by the pressures of providing for this village that no longer simply relies on him. The delusion of lack of choice. That they're locked into this farmer's life and can't make any other decisions. If there was something the farmer could do, it would be to tell his son that he is free to do what he wants. The tea shop owner tells the farmer, all you need to do is pour the rest of the drink into the grass beneath your feet. And from the rain that falls over your son's farm that he inherited, you will impart this message onto him. Through the drops that fall from the sky, he will have this revelation that you did, and make the choice not to fulfill your legacy, but to establish his own. The farmer nods, sheds a tear, and thanks the tea shop owner before continuing on his way through the tundra. And that's the story. And hypothetically, I would roll another d6. I would add that number to what I rolled for the farmer. And I would continue to meet people down the way. I would continue to use the ingredients that I found or what they gifted to me. And I would tackle their difficulties and understand what they've gone through until I meet the Veiled One and conclude this journey. Or conclude my occupation as a tea shop owner. Or continue it and start it over. That was charming. I like that. It's very retrospective? Introspective. It's very introspective. And oh look, at the bottom of this there are hidden paths. So people that you shouldn't read about until you happen across them. How interesting. These are the inspirations of the game. There's a 2-player variant, obviously. And then here, games that we have seen before are 1000-Year-Old Vampire, Legends Feelings we've covered on this channel, and Mouse Ritter we've also covered on this channel. Into the Odd has influenced a great number of games. I think it's credited as a system reference document, but kind of the progenitor to a lot of games moving on in the future. But again, if you want to support this author and hopefully get a better experience than I did in terms of showcasing this or reading this on your own, please visit Last Tea Shop by Spring Villager. Check out their stuff. This was such a nice read, and I wish I could do it more justice than this janky stream, but that's what I got for tonight. I will wrap. To the 4 people in the audience who are watching this, I can't believe you're still here. It is such a choppy stream. I'm going to end the stream. Oh, that's not the end of the stream. I'm going to end the stream, call it here, free you guys to return back to your homes and watch something that is not super choppy. But thank you guys for sticking around. If you did, for anyone watching the VOD and post, thank you for maybe tuning into the stream or just giving this game a chance, as it deserves from a stream that's not so choppy. With all that said, thank you for your time and stay frosty. Thank you guys for watching. That was the entirety of the VOD. Hopefully it's a little better of a artifact of what I covered last week. If you guys enjoyed this stream, please check out more of Spring Villager's work. You can find them at springvillager at itch.itch.io. And if you want to see more tabletop RPGs covered by this stream, feel free to tune into the live tab on this YouTube channel, where we try to cover, or have covered, I believe 55 other games in the past year and almost 2 years now. If you want to tune into a live stream as it's going on, tomorrow we're going to go over Into the Odd, which is a very well acclaimed tabletop RPG upon which many other games are built. With that said, have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in once more, and stay frosty.